One of the things to remember about Brands is he is a protege of Gable. So was Zaleski, but Zaleski wasn't able to pull anything after the first 3 years where he was essentially riding off of Gable's coattails. He was not the coach that that Iowa or even Gable thought it'd be, because Zaleski was Gable's handpicked successor. He said, "You are going to be the one who's going to continue my legacy," and they just kept going down. It's just like, okay, you're not the guy I thought you were. I was not you. Yes, which resulted in Brands, who again was a protege of Gable, but this time he was able to bring them from their lowest point post Gable to actually winning championships.
There you have it.
He has proven that. The thing with Gable is that you have to look at Gable and you have to look at Cael. They were both very unique wrestlers, and thus they became unique coaches because they were able to pass that on to their
wrestlers, right?
So but they were very unique individuals, whereas the Brands brothers, I'm not going to so much talk about Terry because he's kind of an interesting case in and of himself, but Tom Brands was the one who, was able to go out there and was able to wrestle and was able to again turn that around, but he had to work a little bit harder for it. Yes. Gable, again, was this unique, gifted wrestler who was able to turn that into being a unique, gifted coach. Cael was the same. It is the same way. Who is a unique, gifted wrestler and has turned that into being a unique, gifted coach. Brands had to work for it. He was not a naturally gifted wrestler like Gable. He was the type of guy who, while athletic, had to work for it harder, and then but as a result, he's kind of had to again work for it harder when it came to passing that on. He taught more of a work ethic than he did. He's been able to teach more of a work ethic than necessarily the being able to pass that on as a coach, being able to coach the guys. And that's why he hasn't had exactly the same results as Gable. Gable was consistent. Gable was winning championships during his time when he racked the 15. He was able to win championships. I don't think more than 2 years apart. I might be wrong, but I don't think he had more than 2 years apart where he was racking up championships. So, whereas you look at Brands Gap was about almost a decade apart.
Yes.
And he didn't win multiple championships. So, and maybe if Cael wasn't in the picture, maybe Brands would be winning more.
Probably.
But again, it's that matter of Cael is very similar to Gable, and that they're both unique, gifted wrestlers who were able to turn out to be unique, gifted coaches. Whereas Brands is more of a workhorse.
Well, and you also have to consider, Cael, he didn't start off at Penn State because he was actually, I believe he was back at his alma mater.
Yeah, he was at his alma mater at Iowa State. He took over for Bobby Douglas.
And they did have a third place finish, but it sounds, obviously from what it looks like, he found the exact formula he needed when he went to Penn State.
It's very interesting because, when we're talking about two unique gifted wrestlers, we're also talking about two unique gifted Iowa State alumni. They both came from Iowa State, but they couldn't excel. They were only able to excel when they went away. Gable built Iowa, just like Cael has built Penn State. I believe both of those schools had won national championships before, but not in the consistent manner. They were not like Oklahoma State, who has had built this dynasty where at least the coaches, I think each coach has won at least one national championship at Oklahoma State, which is why they have 34 national titles. That wasn't the history at Penn State or Iowa. Iowa had, I think, less than 5. Penn State had 1. And
Yeah,
they were able
Penn
to,
State only
they've
had
been
1.
able to turn those around.